we really need to change the size of this drawing. We want to move from meters as a base unit to millimeters. The reason for that is that we want to be able to use our library of plants and standard symbols and size symbols and so on, and our details, and we want to be able to bring them into the drawing environment. If we work now as with the drawing as meters, we'll have, if we pick, let's say, a standard plant symbol number 4, we try and bring it in and we say insert into this drawing, you'll see this enormous, I'm rolling out now, you see this enormous great big symbol which you can just see to the left now, the actual design. The symbol is 1,000 times bigger than it needs to be, so life becomes far too clumsy. I'll escape from there and we'll magnify. So we need to scale the drawing and make it millimeters because everything in the building trade is millimeters. So what I'm going to do is simply select everything in model space, right click, copy to the clipboard, go across and start a brand new drawing. I won't save any changes to the current drawing. I'll start with a default, I'll right click and I'll paste from the clipboard and I'll put it at coordinate 0, 0. Now I can zoom extents. The next thing I would do is to pick up everything in this unnamed drawing and I would move it all and I'll pick a convenient point. Now there's in fact a set out point here, point 0, which is probably the center of that circle or it may be the intersection of those two lines. It's not my drawing, so I'm not familiar with it. So I'm going to move that point to coordinate 0, 0. So now if we need to get set out points, everything will be referred to and related to the intersection of those two lines. I'm not quite sure why that red set out indicator is slightly offset. If I did a circle here, center radius there, like so, you would expect that to be centered on some entity in the drawing. But I digress. We now have a drawing in meters with its 0, 0 point there. What we're now going to do is to select everything again. I could pick it that way, or I could use Tools, Selection, and Select All. The result is the same. Everything is now selected. I'll right click and I'm going to scale based around 0, 0 with a scale factor of 1,000. So now when we zoom extents and we say, well, what is the distance from the intersect there to the intersect there? So let's do it. Distance from intersect here to intersect there. It won't read 1.4 as it is now. It will read 1400 millimeters. So we can now happily remove that dimension and this one. So all the dimensions that are currently in the drawing can be removed, and we just redo them at some later stage. So as I'm working through, I'll knock all of those off. So now we have a system where we can start using the sorts of symbols that come from our library. So library, plants, standard, and we can pick a symbol, bring it in, insert into the drawing, and it comes in at the appropriate size. So we now have a drawing that we can work with, albeit still with a whole lot of dimensions that are going to be incorrect. If I select the dimensions now, you can see it's on a layer called Quotation Jardin, and we could see if all the dimensions are on that layer, we might well be able to eliminate the dimensions relatively easily. Although it's not too difficult to go through and just knock those dimensions out. So there are quite a lot of them here, but we'll set up a dimension style in a little while to give us what we're after.